Welcome back. 19-year-old British Olympic diver Tom Daley is well known for his athletics in the pool, but now he has come out to fans in a 5-minute-long YouTube video that was posted today. Watch this.
I met someone and they make me feel so happy, so safe, and everything just feels great. And well, that someone is a guy.
The British athlete explained he wanted to put an end to rumors and speculation and tell his story in his own words. For more on this, we're joined from New York by Hudson Taylor. He is the founder and executive director of Athlete Ally. It's a nonprofit focused on ending homophobia in sport. Hudson, what did you think when you saw Tom Daley in his video?
I think it's tremendous news. Anytime you have an athlete of the caliber like Tom Daley, I think it makes it very clear that LGBT athletes are everywhere. When you have Olympic athletes, professional athletes, certainly college athletes coming out, it shows the world that homophobia in sports is not just a theory. It affects real people. And only when we put an end to that language and that conduct and that culture will athletes like Tom feel comfortable competing and being themselves. So I think this is a tremendous day for athletes everywhere, and hopefully will encourage more athletes to feel comfortable and confident coming out.
He talked about wanting to put an end to rumors and speculation. I mean, there had certainly been a lot of that swirling about him and whether or not he was gay. I mean, he also said in the video he didn't think it was such a big deal to come out, yet it took him a while to do so. What did you make of that?
I think increasingly athletes are realizing, and people in society are realizing, that a person's sexual orientation really has no bearing on their ability to compete at an elite level. Unfortunately, the culture of sport still marginalizes the experience of LGBT athletes. The majority of the words that you hear in the locker room and in athletic circles are homophobic or are sexist, and create a stigma or a stereotype that LGBT athletes cannot compete and be themselves. So I think his comments there point to that culture, and hopefully will go a long way towards changing it.
Talk to us a little bit about the stigma that exists in 2013 for people like Tom Daley and others.
Well, in the last year, we've seen more athletes come out, more allies speak out, and more teams take a stand than at any other time in history. But there's still so much work to be done. Point in case, we look at Sochi Winter Olympics and the passage of Russia's anti-LGBT propaganda laws. That is a perfect example of how there are discriminatory environments where athletes are competing and risking persecution or fines or jail time solely because of who they love. So while we've come a long way in a short period of time, there is just a tremendous amount of work to be done. I mean, in the States, we still don't have a lot of professional athletes who are out. So there is a real fear on behalf of LGBT athletes that coming out will in some way jeopardize their ability to compete.
All right, let's talk about Sochi if we can. Dig a little deeper here. 2 months to go before those games begin. We know the anti-gay laws Russia has on the books. Your organization, Athlete Ally, has launched your own campaign urging the IOC, the International Olympic Committee, to do something about these laws. Talk to us a bit about that if you can.
So today we launched a campaign called Principle 6, which draws directly on the language of the Olympic Charter, which says that discrimination of any kind is incompatible with belonging to the Olympic movement. And we chose this language very specifically because within the IOC's regulation, Rule 50, prohibits athletes from making political statements. So our hope is that by using one of the founding principles of the Olympics, we can create a campaign that will enable athletes to voice their opinion about Russia's laws without fear of expulsion from the Games. Also, we hope to use Principle 6 to raise money for LGBT organizations who we know will continue to be affected by these laws after the Games conclude. So our hope is that LGBT athletes and their supporters are free from persecution at the Games, and that we can then use Principle 6 to support the community so that homophobia and the fear of being beaten or picked up off the street or separated from your kids in Russia is no longer a real concern for LGBT Russians.
And just real quick, we got about 30 seconds or so. The Tom Daley example, getting back to that, obviously well-known, high profile, but still a brave thing for him to do, do you think?
Absolutely. I mean, it's still, we don't have a lot about athletes who are competing. So him taking that, him having the courage to come out says volumes to not only his character, but I think to how far we have yet to go. You know, this is not the beginning of the end. This is the end of the beginning. So, I hope that through Principle 6, through athletes coming out like Tom Daley, we'll see more athletes coming out and feel and able to live their true selves on and off the playing field.
Hudson, thanks so much for making time to talk to us today. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Hudson Taylor with Athlete Ally coming to us from New York.